Think Rolex invented everything. Think Omega changed watchmaking forever. What if I told you one nearly forgotten Swiss brand quietly created a breakthrough used in almost every modern automatic watch today? A brand so influential that even if you've never owned one of their watches, you've probably benefited from their invention every single day. This is the extraordinary story of Eterna. And honestly, watchmaking wouldn't look the same without them. Let's go and explore. Our story begins in 1856, long before the moon watch, long before the Submariner, long before luxury watches became status symbols. In the town of Grenchen, Switzerland, physician Joseph Gerard and schoolteacher Urs Schilt founded a small movement factory. Their goal wasn't fame, it wasn't luxury, it was precision. At the time, Switzerland was rapidly becoming the center of watch production, and the founders saw an opportunity to build something remarkable. They named the company Dr. Gerard and Schilt. Nobody knew it then, but a future giant had just been born. When Joseph Gerard left the business, Urs Schilt took full control, and this man was a visionary. While most watchmakers still relied heavily on traditional methods, Schilt embraced industrial innovation, steam-powered equipment, modern production techniques, advanced manufacturing. The company expanded rapidly. By the late 19th century, Eterna was producing complete watches rather than just movement components. The Eterna name gradually appeared on dials. A new identity was forming. It was an identity built on innovation. And exciting times lied ahead. Here's a fun fact many enthusiasts don't know. One of Eterna's greatest contributions doesn't even carry the Eterna name. In 1932, Eterna separated its movement-making division into a new company called ATA. Yes, you've heard it right. That ATA, the largest manufacturer of Swiss watch movements, the movement manufacturer that would eventually power countless Swiss watches like Hamilton, Longines, Tissot, Certina, and many more. So whenever somebody praises a dependable ETA movement, they're indirectly celebrating Eterna's legacy. Not bad for a company most people rarely talk about nowadays. Now comes the moment that secured Eterna's place in horological history. The year is 1948. Eterna introduces the revolutionary Eterna-Matic. But the real breakthrough wasn't the watch itself. It was hidden inside. Tiny ball bearings, just 5 of them, before Eterna, automatic rotors suffered from wear and friction. Eterna's engineers found a smarter solution: mount the rotor on ball bearings. Suddenly, automatic watches became smoother and more reliable and efficient. The innovation was so successful that the concept spread throughout the industry. Today, ball-bearing rotors are standard in modern automatic watchmaking. And those famous 5 ball bearings, they became the company's logo. A logo that is still visible on Eterna watches today. 5 tiny balls had one gigantic impact. Most watch brands need marketing stories to make their name famous. Eterna had a real adventure. In 1947, explorer Thor Heyerdahl crossed the Pacific Ocean aboard a simple balsa wood raft called KonTiki. The journey became legendary. Eterna watches were carried by members of the expedition, a 101-day Pacific crossing on a balsa wood raft from Peru towards Polynesia. A decade later, Eterna honored the expedition with the launch of the KonTiki collection, and the KonTiki quickly became one of Eterna's most famous watches: rugged, reliable, adventure-ready. The kind of watch that looks like it belongs on a ship rather than inside a boardroom. Even today, when collectors think of Eterna, KonTiki is usually the first name that comes to mind. But Eterna's achievements didn't stop there. The brand developed one of the world's earliest wristwatch alarm concepts. It produced remarkably small movements during the early 20th century. It pushed manufacturing techniques forward, and it continuously experimented with technical solutions long before innovation became a marketing buzzword. The truth is that Eterna spent decades quietly solving engineering problems. They were not chasing headlines, not chasing hype, but simply improving watches. Modern Eterna continues to draw heavily from its heritage. The KonTiki remains the adventurous cornerstone. The Super KonTiki offers a sportier diving personality. And elegant models such as the Centenaire celebrate Eterna's classic side. Some releases are direct tributes to the legendary Eterna-Matic. Others showcase the manufacturer's engineering ambitions. Throughout its collection, 2 things remain constant: a clear connection to innovation, and those familiar 5 balls are always there. Before we continue, quick pause. If you enjoy watch stories that go deeper than the usual hype, follow Horology Guide. This channel is for people who want more than this watch is expensive or that brand is famous. Here, we look at the real stories, the forgotten innovators, the strange inventions, the brands that shaped horology from behind the curtain. And Eterna is exactly that kind of story. Because sometimes the most important watch brands are not the biggest ones. They are the ones quietly sitting inside the mechanism. So if you like mechanical watches, history, design, engineering, and a few surprising facts along the way, follow us now. But let's not forget that, like many historic Swiss brands, Eterna faced difficult decades. Ownership changed multiple times after the quartz crisis era due to intensified competition. As a result, the brand visibility declined. And despite possessing one of the most important histories in horology, Eterna slowly drifted from mainstream attention. Today, the company is owned by Citychamp Watch and Jewelry Group, alongside Rotary or Dreyfus & Co. And previously, Citychamp owned the Swiss haute horlogerie brand Corum, which was sold last year. The company continues producing watches while preserving its remarkable heritage. Are you ready for the little challenge now? Reminding the world just how important Eterna really is. Eterna often uses a powerful slogan, "Pioneers in watchmaking." And honestly, few brands deserve that title more. They helped create ATA. They revolutionized automatic winding. They built iconic adventure watches. And they changed the mechanical watch forever. These things were not achieved through celebrity endorsements or through marketing spectacle, but through high-level engineering brilliance. Which of these did Eterna do? A. Help create ETA. B. Produce one of the earliest series-made wristwatch alarms. C. Develop the 5-ball bearing automatic rotor. D. All of the above. And the answer is D. All of the above. Eterna's movement-making division was separated in 1932 and became ETA, one of the most important movement suppliers in Swiss watchmaking. Eterna also patented a wristwatch alarm concept in 1908, later launching a series production wristwatch alarm in 1914. And in 1948, Eterna introduced the ball-bearing mounted automatic rotor, the innovation symbolized by the 5 balls in the company's logo. That is a ridiculous amount of legacy for one brand. And yet, somehow, Eterna is still one of the most under-discussed names in watch collecting. So next time you wear an automatic watch, take a moment to remember the 5 tiny balls that changed history and the Swiss company behind them. One thing's for sure, Eterna is one of watchmaking's greatest unsung heroes. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Horology Guide, because this channel is not just about famous watches, it is about stories behind them. The inventions most people forgot, the brands that changed watchmaking without shouting about it, the strange details, the technical breakthroughs, the human ambition, and the beautiful designs that make horology so addictive. On Horology Guide, we look beyond the logo. We ask why a watch matters, what it changed, who built it, and what collectors should remember today. So if you want more stories like Eterna rich, surprising, mechanical, and full of character, subscribe now. Because in watchmaking, the best stories are often hidden inside the movement. And on Horology Guide, that is exactly where we look.